All right, folks, good morning. Looks like I accidentally put the date for this broadcast for April the 20th instead of the 22nd, so that was my mistake. So I apologize for anyone who missed this broadcast, but let's go ahead and get started either way. So first up, let's discuss the markets. So for today, Monday, April 22nd, we have no economic data scheduled for today, none at all. So again, no data scheduled for today for the United States. Again, if you're just joining, I accidentally put the schedule time for the 20th instead of the 22nd, so that was my typo. But either way, we're here. All right, so let's get started. So looking at the Nasdaq from Friday, here's what we have. So for Friday, action was definitely bearish. We started off the day way up here, closed way down there, pretty consistent move down. As of the moment, it looks like we're going to open slightly higher. Now, it is important to note, as I mentioned in the newsletter this morning, that we do have to consider that the Nasdaq, the QQQ at least, has given up over 80% of the gains that it made since the beginning of this year. So you got to think about that. It's retraced over 80% of the gains that it made from the start of this year. Now, that leaves the big question of whether or not we're going to actually trade below the opening price of this year. The Nasdaq opened, the QQQ opened slightly lower than where it did, where it closed on the end of 2023. But nevertheless, it is critical to watch whether or not this market is able to sustain itself. So I figured that if bulls are going to be around and defend this and keep the market in positive territory for this first half of the year, it's critical that they start to act now because we've retraced so much at this point that if they don't step in now, pretty much we're guaranteed to trade below, put us into negative territory for the year. So we'll see. So today is probably going to be a critical day, at least at the minimum this week is going to be a critical week to determine if the NASDAQ is positive or negative for the first half of the year. All right, having said that, let's take a look at the stocks which were moving on Friday. Again, if you're just joining, I accidentally put the date for this broadcast for the 20th instead of the 22nd, so that's why you didn't see it until now. All right, so as far as what was moving um, on Friday, first up, not the best one is Google. This was bearish. It was able to pass target number one to the downside of 153.68, traded to a low of 152.30, which was more than halfway to target number two to the downside. Obviously, didn't reach target number two to the downside, but got pretty far down. Apple, meanwhile, was able to trade down to target number one to the downside of 164.17, where it didn't found support, bottomed out at 164.08. There was a big buyer at that price level, so therefore it's not surprising that it rebounded from there. Meanwhile, eBay was able to reach target number one to the upside of 51.02, which is also where it topped out. Next up is Meta. Bearish day for Meta. It was able to pass through target number two to the downside of 482.41, then bottom out later on towards the end of the day at 475.73. And then lastly, we have Microsoft. Not the best trend down, but it was fairly smooth in its motion. So nice move down after consolidating at first. Nice move down, very sharp rebound, then turned around, gradually started to sell off again. Got down to target number one to the downside of 398.76. Then went slightly below that, below 398 before we got to the end of the day. All right, so that's all the action we saw for Friday. Not a lot, but there were some good moving stocks, so at least we had that. Looking at the pre-market, we currently have a few stocks that are getting some attention. So we have ADIL, which is currently up 4.66%. Now, it needs to be up a lot more than at least 6% to qualify. You can see that it spiked in the pre-market, but so far it's sold off, so this doesn't qualify for our list at the moment. Next up, I have AGBA, which is presently up 19.2%. Volume is 12.7 million shares. Price is at least $1 per share, trading at about $1.49, and it's a NASDAQ listed stock. So that meets all of our criteria. It fully qualifies, so we will add that to our pre-market watch list. Again, the symbol is AGBA. Oops. AGBA. Okay, next up we have MLEC, which is currently up 111% on 26 million shares roughly. It's at least $1 per share as well. So we'll go ahead and add MLEC to our pre-market radar. Next up, we have NKGN, which is presently up about 30% on 5.9 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. Looks pretty good, so we'll add that to our pre-market radar as well. NKGN, since it fully qualifies. Next up, we have Riot. Now, I'm not sure. I doubt Riot's up enough, but let's find out. Okay, yes, it's up close, 5.75%. Riot's already on our pre-market or on our regular watch list anyway, so we'll see it. But it looks like it's about to pass the 6% mark. There it goes. Yep. So we'll go ahead and add Riot either way. Riot blockchain is added to our pre-market radar for stocks. Tesla is down sharply, but I don't think it's down enough. But down a lot, 4.25%. Tesla cuts prices in China. Traders await big tech earnings. Okay, yeah, so Tesla cuts prices again. They also laid off, I think, 10,000 people in Austin, Texas. So there you go. Anyway, so Tesla's down 4.2%. Doesn't qualify for our pre-market radar, but it is a stock that's already on our list, so we'll see that at the open either way. And just in case, I'm checking if Mara... no, it's only up 3.18%, so not up enough. Let's see what Coinbase looks like. 2%. Okay, so not up enough. So if you folks see any other stocks that meet our 4 criteria, let me know in the chat. So far, we have 4 stocks. I'll post them in the chat. Those are AGBA, MLEC, NKGN, and Riot, RIOT. Any other stocks that meet our 4 criteria, please let me know in the chat. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. They must be a NASDAQ listed stock first, must have traded in this current pre-market session at least 1 million shares of volume, must have at least a 6% price change from where it was on Friday. Positive or negative price change is fine. And we must also be trading at least $1 per share or higher. So if you see any other stocks that meet all 4 criteria, NASDAQ listed, 1 million shares in current pre-market volume, at least a 6% price change, and at least $1 per share. Let me know in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and take a look. All right. I guess that's a no. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for this morning. Folks, please be sure to like the video. I see we got 8 likes, more than 8 people watching. Please be sure to hit the like button for YouTube. That greatly helps us. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel. So just hit the like button. Again, we greatly appreciate that. Also, if anyone's watching this broadcast on a replay, and if you're not familiar with our company, be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You'll see a link in the description of this video. Other than that, for everyone else who's part of the coaching room, I'll see you in that broadcast in about 25 minutes, and we'll pick up from there. All right, other than that, folks, have a great trading session. I'll see you for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Have a good one.